And I said,
that's right.
There's a lot of stuff with Trey Young beyond the scoring, which is obvious. The confidence. He gets others involved. I think he is the #1 point guard in the East. Is that a little too much too early?
It's not too much, not after this playoff run. So there's a lot to unpack here. Your old buddy Bill Simmons made the right comparison. That people are comparing him to Steph. Listen, he's not a dead-eye shooter. He's a good shooter.
Yeah.
But he's not Steph or Dame, even though he takes Steph and Dame shots. The comp Simmons made, that's right, is Steve Nash. Because it's the playmaking that makes him so impossible.
Stuff, Nick. Always fun conversations. We got Chris Broussard joining our conversation, talking Suns Clippers, Game 3. Remember, Game 2, not a great night for Paul George. Give him credit, though. He owned that loss. He knew he had to be better, and last night he was a little better. 27, 15, and 8, again without Kawhi in there. For the Suns, CP3 back in the lineup didn't really matter. He and Devin Booker combined to shoot just 10 of 40 from the field. Clippers get the win. They're back in the series. Here is Paul George on if Game 3 felt any different for him than the losses in Game 1 and 2.
No, I didn't feel different. It was just another approach. We knew we had to take care of home court. And, you know, it's just a scrappy team. We have to match their physicality. I thought we did that. We have to match their scrappiness. I thought we did that. And that's really the key. We can't allow this team to play harder than us. And I thought that was just the way we approached tonight.
They outplayed us tonight. You know what I mean? We didn't make shots. You could tell they had, you know, a lot more energy. And I got to be better. I shot terrible. You know what I mean? I got to pick up the pace. We'll be ready Game 4.
All right, Chris Broussard. Did Paul George and the Clippers convince you that they could still win this series after what you saw last night?
My Clippers.
Well, Jenna, like I said after Game 2, I didn't need convincing. All right, I think it's absolutely foolish to write off these Clippers. And Brandon, the Clippers have told me they don't want you back. All right, the bandwagon is closed. They saw you throw them completely in the ocean and say they're done. So they don't want you back, all right? But no, look, they won Game 3 with their best player, Paul George, missing 17 of 26 shots. They won Game 3 shooting their worst from the three-point line in this series. Okay, so they can rightly say, we all know, they should be up 2-1. All right, they should be up 2-1 with a chance to really put a nail in a coffin in Game 4. So they've got to be feeling good about themselves. I picked the Suns in 7, so I predicted a long series. I think that's what we're going to get. I actually think we're going to get a home series where every team wins the home game. So I think the Clippers even this thing up at 2 games apiece. But we know how great Ty Lue is at adjustments. I mean, it's incredible what he's doing. And going with Terrence Mann in the starting lineup, that Mann and Beverly at the guards, and Reggie Jackson obviously too, they played a 3-guard lineup. But those two in particular, that contributed greatly to Devin Booker and Chris Paul struggling so badly from the field. I'm not saying that Chris wasn't rusty and things like that, but they contributed to that 10 of 40 shooting performance by the Suns' backcourt. And Beverly, whose defense over the last few years has waned. You know, he's been living off his reputation for a couple years now as a great defender. Right. But in this series so far, he's been the man. And anybody that's played basketball, you've played against a guy that is just wild, and he's a pest, and he's all over you, and he's so wild that you can get hurt physically. And Patrick Beverly is that type of guy. He did it with Russell Westbrook when he injured Westbrook's knee a few years ago. And then he did it with Devin Booker in Game 2 with the broken nose. Brandon, I'm sure you played against dude. They just wild. You know, and you kind of hate playing against them, and it can get in your head.
Finnegan in football.
So, there you go, right?
Josh Norman
Devin
in
Booker's
football.
got to adjust to that. And Chris Paul
Exactly,
was right.
yeah, those
I'm glad
guys.
he said it in the post game. He's got to push the ball. They played a lot slower than they did with Campaign. Obviously, Campaign now has the ankle injury, but Chris has got to push it, and they got to play a little bit faster.
And you also heard him say, I shot terrible from 3, or just shot terrible last night. He can't, and Booker can't go, and they won't go 1 for 1,000 again. So that's why I don't see, the Clippers coming back from this 0-2 deficit. And you are right. I did jump ship. I jumped ship because you lost Kawhi Leonard, and you need Kawhi and Paul George to get it done against the most complete team in the NBA, the most balanced team in the NBA. And this is not a Cinderella story like they just start doing this late in the season or just in the postseason. They've been doing it all year. So you got to respect that. And look, you're right. Paul George, so happy for Paul George, overcoming, missing those 2 free throws down the stretch, and then also getting the win here. They played lights out defense, and they've been doing it all year. But I just think it's too much for them Wilds. I just think it's too much for Paul George. This Suns team is the real deal. And like I said, you got 3 or 4 guys on that team that can give you 20 any given night.
Sure, but I'll tell you who hasn't been playing great, courtesy of Patrick Beverly. Oh, it's Devin Booker. Game 2, Devin Booker went 5 for 16 when guarded by Patrick Beverly. Last night, he went 5 for 21. Last night was one of the worst games of his entire career, Nick. And I know we can say, like, it's the mask. Oh, the Suns were due for a loss. We just have to give Pat Beverly credit. So as much as Broussard says he was living off his reputation, there was also a new reputation that he wasn't good anymore, courtesy of Russell Westbrook, because Russ went out in the media and was like, oh, Patrick Beverly's fooling everybody. Patrick Beverly is proving that he's not just a pest, he's a great defensive player, and he's a genius at the end of the game. He almost won the Clippers game 2 when he knocked the ball out. I know you hated it, but it was a genius play.
Great call.
And then he was playing great. Also, when he got that offensive foul on Book. He's playing great. He's playing great. I know people don't like him, but if he was on your team, you would love this
There's
guy.
a reason people don't like him. Yeah, except for in practice if he injures you. There's a reason people don't like him. I'll get to Beverly in a second, but first let me defend Brandon. Brandon is correct. Brandon abandoned the Clippers after the Kawhi Leonard injury. And if there is ever a person who should testify, you are allowed to totally rip in half any predictions and say, oh, injuries happen, who knew it? It's Chris Broussard, it's over. Oh, wait, it's not NBA 2K and injuries aren't simulated off? Oh, no, the Nets. No, it can't win with an injured player. No, I take it all back. So,
Lakers?
Brandon, I've got your back.
Anyone?
I've got your back.
Thank you.
Hey, by the way, never changed my pick. Never changed my pick. Pick the Lakers all the way through. Haven't blamed it on a damn thing. To Beverly, Wilds, I heard you grumble when Broussard brought up when Beverly hurt Russell Westbrook. You shouldn't have grumbled. That was a dirty play by a dirty player.
Great.
Now, I will give Beverly credit for the fact that he had, prior to this season, started 41 of 42 career playoff games. Ty Lue not only took him out of the starting lineup for a while, he was getting DNP coaches' decisions, and he didn't pout, he didn't whine, he dealt with it and he stayed ready. But I am not going to be part of the love fest for the dirtiest player in basketball. I'm not. I'm good for him that he's having a good couple games. The players are correct when they say he's fooling the media in large part, and his style of play is dangerous for the great players in this league, and I'm not a fan of it. And so, yeah, listen, he's doing his job well. It's kept him in the league from Russia. I get it, Wilds. But I don't
push back.
I'm not. There's no part of it that I enjoy watching. Yeah, okay. Wilds, go ahead.
There's 3 monster stars left in these playoffs. Trey Young, Giannis, Devin Booker. CP3 too, but I mean like scoring stars. Paul George, sorry you don't make it. There's 3 huge scorers. Wow. I'm just saying Paul George doesn't score like those other 3
huge
guys.
Scores.
I think that's a fair take. Giannis has largely been unstoppable. Trey Young has largely been unstoppable. And Devin Booker's out here missing a ton of shots. So did Devin Booker all of a sudden not get good at basketball? Or can we just give
he
credit
got his
to Patrick
nose
Beverly?
broken.
That's all I'm saying. Okay.
Was Beverly there for